I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're taking a look at the intricate world of infertility. Joining us today is Saskia Roell. She is the author of The Naked Truth of Unexplained Infertility. Through her personal experiences and in-depth research, the author offers insights into the complex interplay of mind, body, and emotions in the contraception process. Highlighting over 55 real-life stories, this book promises hope and guidance for countless women navigating the challenging waters of infertility. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to this channel and, more importantly, purchasing her wonderful book. The links are below this interview. Saskia, thanks so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Well, thank you so much for having me join.
My pleasure. It is such a tough time for couples who are dealing with infertility. They have a lot of questions. It's an emotional time. They have pressure from their families often. Tell us a little bit about your inspiration to write the book.
Yeah, when a woman gets the diagnosis, unexplained infertility, they think it's the end of the road because the doctors can't do anything anymore. And I dare to say it's good news, because unexplained infertility means the reason is not medical, but the reason is emotional. And that's the woman I work with. And you have to find the root cause. And then, women get pregnant. And it's amazing. In the book, I have 55 stories of women over 40 who got pregnant, who had unexplained infertility. And actually, there's 75 stories. So even doctors say 80% of the women should be able to get pregnant. But the thing is, the doctors are not educated to find the deeper reasons. And that's the work I help women with. And I want them to know the door to motherhood is not shut. It's absolute to be opened. And there is a roadmap.
And also, modern medicine often ignores the mind-body connection. And that's where it seems a lot of the unexplained infertility lies, between subconscious fears, negative beliefs, and so forth. Often you see the case that a woman can't get pregnant, they're trying, they've seen the doctor, and then a close friend or a relative will get pregnant, and all of a sudden the girl who's having problems conceiving is now pregnant also. So it goes to show you that it can be a lot of mindset, right?
Oh, absolutely. And what is so interesting is that there is so much research about the body-mind connection, and research that when a woman does a body-mind program, she goes from 10 to 20% chance to conceive, say if she uses IVF, to 40 to 52%. And that's amazing. And I see way higher numbers. So there is a lot of research, and I see that there's so much to do, and it's not the end of the road if you have it, because you can get pregnant, and even if you're over 40 or mid 40. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's wonderful news and very encouraging for a lot of women out there who want to be moms. You mentioned before we got started that you have a quiz that helps women understand perhaps the basis of the unexplained infertility. Tell us a little bit about that quiz.
Yeah. The thing is that unexplained infertility is explainable, as I say it. But if you think of, I have the unexplained infertility theory about this. If you think about an iceberg, right? There is the iceberg you can see, that's the top. But we know that under the surface, under the water, there is a lot of iceberg too. Now, what you see on top is the iceberg, and that's like what we know, what we see. But then underneath is what we don't see and we don't know. And that's where, in my work, where I look with them, like what I don't see, what I don't know. And that's where the mindset block lives. And the mindset block means there's obsessive thoughts. There's the hamster wheel thought of that maybe it never can happen. They're too old. There's the emotional block, which the emotional block, it means that women go on an emotional roller coaster. They are hopeful, they are hopeless. It goes up and down, and it impacts the hormones. And the emotional roller coaster makes them like going into this mess. Then there's the body mistrust block, and the body mistrust block is all about not trusting your body anymore, starting to think maybe if they've had like a miscarriage where they think, oh, now it's never going to happen again. And they go in a lot of fear. And when they don't trust the body listens. There's a lot of research about that. The body mind is connected. And then there's the trauma block. Maybe a woman has failed IVF or a few miscarriages or an abortion or trauma she's seen in the family when a baby was born. And those memories lock into the body, and it creates a lot of fear. Now, usually a woman has more than one block, but there is a primary block. And women are fascinated about these blocks. So I have a quiz, and in 1 minute, you can find out what your block is. It's super simple, and I explain all about it. And it gives so much explanation, and it gives so much hope if you're struggling and thinking, well, maybe I have a block.
Yeah.
That's why I developed this quiz.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm sure it's very, very helpful. You say that women need to develop a sense of safety, and that's very, very important, particularly if they've had miscarriages, like you said, if they had an abortion, that kind of thing, right? How do they develop this sense of safety?
You know, the thing is that when they have these different blocks, the body is in fight and flight. And when the body is in fight and flight, there's fear, and fear impacts immediately the reproductive system, because in fight and flight, the body is very wise, as I always explain it. And in fight and flight, the body has other things to do than reproduce because it's not safe. So when you have blocks, your body is in fear, your body is in fight and flight. Now, when you've released the deeper blocks, your body starts, exactly like you're saying, to feel safe. And your body starts to run like on this safety and is open to conceive. I call it like you have the fear program and you have the open to conceive program. But the open to conceive means your mind is at ease and you don't have obsessive thinking. It means you're calm. Your emotions are calmer. It means that you release the deeper trauma and you trust your body. So it's very different, and that impacts immediately your egg production. It impacts your reproductive system. And that's why, yeah, there is so much to do if you have unexplained infertility. I mean, I always get a smile on my face when women tell me they have it. I'm like, yes, let's find out what the blocks are and make you aware what you can do.
Yep, you've got a lot of energy towards this because you realize these women have been told there is no hope, and you know differently. You know there is hope. You know a lot of his mindset, and a lot of it comes with being at peace, being calm, being in a state of good health yourself by not being overburdened by anxiety. One technique you mentioned is talking to one's unborn baby. Tell us a little bit about this practice and how it evolved for you and why you think it's beneficial for women you've worked with.
Yeah, it's very interesting because what I notice when women come to me, they've gone through so much struggle. And at that point, they're kind of disconnected from their body. It feels like this mechanical vehicle because they get IVFs and they lose the connection to their womb. They lose the connection to their baby. And I believe these baby souls are around us, but then they completely lose that connection. And I always pinpoint out where they say, oh, I want a baby. Then I'm saying like, my baby. And I've done amazing sessions where I see women being completely disconnected, where they're actually feeling the energy. It's the same when you're thinking about, for example, you think about your son, calling your son, and then he calls you. It's a little bit like that. And I believe in that. And women get so hopeful and start developing the connection to their body, the connection to their womb, the connection to their baby. And in the book, I have many stories about actually, I in private sessions, I talk with them and I facilitate those conversations, and things that have been said that I hear these babies say about like, oh, I really want to make sure, you don't have to be a perfectionist. I'm more like a hippie baby. You don't have to do everything like so conscious. One of my clients was like that. She wanted conscious conception, everything conscious. And then we talked with the baby and I said, well, I hear this baby is saying, well, don't be like that, because I want more the hippie vibe. And she started to laugh. And this is actually a story from the book where she said, oh my goodness, I was always a hippie when I was younger. And I love that vibe, but I've kind of gone down this path and have become like super obsessed and perfectionistic. So I believe it's important. And I always give the example, a lot of women say, when I ask, what do you want to tell your baby? They say, oh, I'm ready. But then I say, I'm a mother of 5. And if I would tell my kids for Christmas, I'm ready, that doesn't enroll them to come home. If I tell them like, oh, I have your room's really nice, there's phenomenal food in the fridge, we have a surfboard ready, or, I entice them. And instead of saying, I am ready, that's all about me, but show them what's in for them. And then I guide them, like, tell them about your life, about who you are, about your personality, about what's waiting for them in that sense. Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. You're opening yourself, you're opening your home, you're opening your world to your children who are grown at this point, but you're saying the same thing can be true for a woman who wants to conceive a baby, that she has to have that same mindset that the baby comes to her. Tell us a little bit about your work with women who are struggling with infertility.
Yeah, I work with women from all kind of backgrounds, from celebrities to any woman or mom to be who is dealing with having tried everything, where they say like, I'm at the end of the road, and well, they haven't tried everything, but they may have had 16 failed IVFs, or they may have had several miscarriages, or they have secondary infertility where the first child they conceived very easily and then they couldn't get pregnant anymore. And that's typically unexplained infertility, often because something happened maybe during the pregnancy that they fear it will repeat, or something happened during birth that they again then fear, and the body contracts. So I work with women who have done acupuncture, or some women get completely obsessed by doing everything right. It's almost fertility OCD, where they can't help it. And I understand, because they want to get pregnant and it's important. But those are the women who, they're like, is there anything else? And yes, there is anything else. And it is really very, very helpful and very hopeful, given the fact that they physically have checked. Like, of course, like, physically the doctors have said we can't do anything. Usually with unexplained infertility, they all have low AMH, that means the egg production. But when the body is in fight and flight, and this is all under the surface, right? Under the level of the sea, where they're not aware of it. But the egg production goes lower, or they have endometriosis. They usually have something, but that's explainable. And
wonderful. Well, it's wonderful that you're offering hope. Saskia Roell has written a terrific book. It is called The Naked Truth of Unexplained Infertility. She goes through her personal experiences, her in-depth research, and she offers insights into the complex interplay of mind, body, and emotions in the conception process. If you or anyone you love is having some difficulties conceiving, has questions about it, this book is perfect for you. Saskia, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you so much, and thank all of you for listening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm sending so many baby whispers.
Sounds great. Sounds great. To all the baby whisperers out there, that's wonderful. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time, on Spotlight.